Now let us revise about the properties of colloids. Properties of colloids. So there are number of properties of colloids, and the first one is called Brownian motion or Brownian movement. Now this Brownian motion or Brownian movement means the zigzag motion of the colloidal particles or the chaotic motion of the colloidal particles. Now this Brownian motion is due to the impact of the molecules of dispersion medium on the molecules of the dispersed phase. Now this Brownian motion has a stirring effect. So it does not allow the colloidal particles to settle down. It does not allow the colloidal particles to precipitate. So this Brownian motion has a stirring effect and gives stability to the colloidal solution. Now second one is called the optical properties, and this is called a Tyndall effect. Now Tyndall effect means the scattering of light, the bending of light, scattering of light by the colloidal particles. And there are two conditions to show the Tyndall effect. The colloidal solution must satisfy the following two conditions to show the Tyndall effect. And the first one is that the wavelength of the light used, the lambda of the light used, should be comparable to the size of the colloidal particles. And the second point is that the ratio of the refractive indices that is mu1 to mu2, the ratio of the refractive indices of the two mediums should be as large as possible. Now the blue color of sky is due to the Tyndall effect. But remember, this Tyndall effect and the Brownian motion, these two properties are independent of the colloidal solution. All types of colloidal solutions, they show these two properties independent of the charged particles, independent of the charge present on the colloidal particles. Now the third one is called the electrical properties. Now most of the lyophobic souls are electrically charged. They are electrically charged due to the adsorption of ions or preferential adsorption of ions. For example, this hydrated ferric oxide sol is positively charged due to the adsorption of ferric ions, is positively charged. Similarly, this arsenic sulfide sol is negatively charged due to the adsorption of sulfide ions. It's negatively charged. So these lyophobic sols move towards the respective electrodes, move towards their respective electrodes in the presence of an electric field. In the presence of an electric field. And this is known as electrophoresis, or this is called electrophoresis. Electrophoresis. And these colloidal particles are finally deposited at a given electrode and coagulate. Finally deposited at the electrode and coagulate. So most of the electrical chimneys we use in industry, they involve electrophoresis. So all colloidal particles, the poisonous colloidal particles, they get deposited at the given electrode and helps in controlling the pollution. The fourth one is called coagulation. Now coagulation means the formation of aggregates or the formation of precipitate, by adding some electrolyte, So all lyophobic sols are unstable and they coagulate on addition of an electrolyte. All lyophobic sols are unstable and coagulate or precipitate on addition of an electrolyte. The minimum amount of the electrolyte required, in millimoles per liter to just start the coagulation, is called the coagulation value. And according to Hardy-Schulze rules, the first point that the positively charged sols can be coagulated by negative ions and negatively charged sols can be coagulated by positive ions. And the second rule is that the coagulation power of the ion increases. Coagulation power of ion increases as the charge on the ion increases. Charge on the ion increases. And coagulation power and coagulation value, they are inversely related. They are inversely related. For example, to coagulate this positively charged ferric oxide sol, hydrated ferric oxide sol, the coagulation power increases in this order: Cl negative, SO42 negative, PO43 negative, and this is ferrocyanide ion, FeCN6 and 4 negative. So this is increasing coagulation power. So examples where the coagulation is involved are these. First, that the deltas are formed when the river, which is the lyophobic sol, meets seawater, which contains number of electrolytes. Number of electrolytes. And the second example is that animal skins can be hardened by using tannins or the dichromate ion, and animal skins are positively charged lyophobic sols. Lyophobic sols. The next is emulsions and the types of emulsions. Now, emulsions are liquid in liquid type colloids. Means the dispersed phase and the dispersion medium both are in the liquid states. Now there are two types of emulsions. The first one is called oil in water type. So oil is the dispersed phase and water is the dispersion medium is in excess. Now example is milk. Example is vanishing cream. Second type is water in oil type. So in this case, the water is the dispersed phase and oil is the dispersion medium. Example is the cold cream. Now oil and water are immiscible and forms an unstable emulsions. And to stabilize them or to make them homogeneous, to stabilize them, we add emulsifying agents. Now in milk, the emulsifying agent is a protein called casein. Soaps and detergents are also emulsifying agents. And the preparation of emulsions is known as emulsification. And conversion of emulsions back into two layers oil and water is known as DeEmulsification. And this can be done by changing temperature or the pH. So that is called DeEmulsification. Like the milk can be changed into water and the fat by changing the pH, by adding lime juice, or by changing temperature. So this is all about the properties of colloids and the emulsions.